Good morning. Welcome to a new day and a new week. It's Nigeria now on QOS Television Network. We're reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. And as always on Nigeria now, I get to bring you headlines, across Nigerian dailies and then just review them with my guest in the studio. I have here with me Mr. Adebayo Fajemi, who's going to be helping to review or do analysis of, the catchy headlines across the dailies this morning. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
All right, so let's start with the Nigerian News Direct. I don't know how I feel about this headline, but it says mixed reactions trail 100% increment in domestic airlines fares. Least economy tickets to be sold 50,000 naira effective next week. What do you think about this one?
Well, it's going to really affect transport system, especially those who have resorted to be flying, as a result of insecurity, that is holding the country by the jugular. So, but I think no matter what it is, some people will still be able to afford it, but at least the sector should try to look into a way at which they can help Nigerians to reduce the burden, because if you increase as the fee increases now, it's going to be difficult for a lot of people, because before you travel now, you have to make a very well planned, especially financially, so as not to, because if you are taking a flight from Abuja to Lagos, and that's 50,000 naira, so it's going to pile up a burden. So but I think those people in that sector should look for a way to lessen the burden, and everybody can enjoy their trip.
It seems like there's a lot that's happening in the aviation industry that we're not aware of or they're not talking about. Did you also feel that way? Because I know there's been a back and forth. So at some point they said it's the cost of having to buy diesel for the aircraft, cost of maintenance, taxes, and all of that stuff. But do you think there's a lot that we actually don't know about that's happening in the aviation sector?
Yes, of course. In fact, the minister, the minister of aviation, Adi Sirika, I've also said something similar, like especially last year, over and over again, but Nigerian system, we just like talking, so we like do talking without action. So and that's the result of many things that we have been seeing what we have been seeing across all sectors. So we will keep on appealing to them to do the needful so as to make sure that everybody enjoys a Nigerian environment.
All right, moving away from that to the Daily Trust this morning. The catchy or the banner headline that says 8 months after abduction, 13 Yoruba schoolgirls married off to bandits. 3 pregnant students released to parents. Over 10 captives still with abductors. We're working for their release. 12-year-old Bethel students remain in captivity. Do you actually think that, in as much as the Nigerian government is doing a lot, to curb banditry, to win, terrorism and all of that stuff, but do you think they're putting that same energy into having to retrieve, abducted schoolgirls and all of that?
Yeah, they are not really doing enough for me. In fact, the war against banditry or terrorism, as the case may be, is not strong enough, because several times I've said that this is a new ideology in our nation, and for you to tackle ideology, you don't use gun alone. So you need education. You need to. There are a lot of plans you need to put on table. Like I've said it several times, that you need to study the model operandi of these people. You need to tackle development. Underdevelopment and all of that. So, but Nigerian governments are just winning war against these people with guns, and you don't battle or you don't curtail new ideology with gun alone. You also need superior ideology to ensure that you nip this thing in the bud. So, but we are not doing that. So, and that is why this menace will keep on, existing.
All right. How much do you like Pomo? I know you're Yoruba. How much do you like Pomo?
Well, as a full grown-up man now, I don't really have appetite. I don't have penchant for it again, but I remember back then in the village we used to take it, but now I don't have penchant for it again.
Okay, I asked you that question because I saw this headline that says tons of Pomo that can cause deadly diseases imported to Nigeria. That's coming from NAFDAC. And then this is just, I think we're just, starting to feel relief from the tons of adulterated petrol that was imported into Nigeria. And I'm having to say that tons of palm oil that could cause deadly diseases have been imported into Nigeria. What do you think is wrong with importation, checks and balances, all of that in Nigeria?
It is still bound to the fact that, many people who are, those people who are saddled with responsibilities, or let me say, a lot of people who are saddled with responsibilities are not up to their task. And this is not the first time we'll be seeing something like this. But we are still very fortunate that they discovered this, because if this is not being discovered, we can imagine a lot of people who is going to be victim. So this is to show that, of course, we are trying our best, but this best is not enough. We need to buckle up and ensure that whatever that is not good for consumption, especially in Nigeria, is not being imported. And even if it's been imported, it's been discovered, and those people are being caught and being prosecuted.
Do you think that the problem is with the manpower, the quality control, those in charge of quality control, or maybe we do not really have the equipment or whatever to detect these things while they're coming in, while they're in checks?
Well, I don't want to believe it is manpower or lack of equipment. Greed is one of our problems. You see somebody, who wants to perpetrate evil, and because the person has enough money, because of greed, you want to take bribe and put the life of many people in crisis, in problems. So I think it's part of, if Nigerians really want to work, of course we know how to go about it, but I think insincerity in the delivery of service is our major problem in containing all this menace.
All right, moving away from that, I do hope that's dealt with. Moving away from that, so there's this headline that's replicated across most of the papers here today. So first is on Nigerian Tribune. It said 6 days to APC Convention, uncertainty over delegates list, consensus unity list won't be acceptable to Buhari. That's from Boss Mustafa. Concerned aspirant asks party leadership to postpone convention. And on the Nation newspaper, he says governors meet today over new APC convention date, party to set agenda for tomorrow's talks with Buhari, congresses to hold in zones. This back and forth that's happening with the APC, not knowing what to pick a leader and then having to postpone the convention. Do you think it's a reflection of what's happening in the party ahead of 2023?
Yes, of course, and there is every possibility that the convention is postponed, because if you see the crisis rocking the party, especially in most of the states, you have Osun, you have Kano, which is a very potent spot, for electoral process, for voting, and you have Kwara, Rivers, and all of that. So and don't forget that a house divided against itself cannot stand. So if APC refuses to put its house in order, if they go to election this way, they may suffer loss. And that is why some of them are pushing to ensure that they postpone the convention so that they can put the house in order, to ensure that they have victory in February in the general election in 2023. So I see that possibility, but as it is now, I'm not sure that the party is at peace.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me on Nigeria Now this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you for staying with me on Nigeria Now up until this time. Do not forget that I'll be back here tomorrow. But as I always say, you can be a part of the community, join the conversation on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. It's TOS TV Network. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's TOS TV Network as well. And you can also stream contents and stories from across the world on our website. It's www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesu Alsi. Thank you and join me again tomorrow.